Good morning. We are a group of three students, Alecia, Kosi, and me, Pauline, and we will present you 2020, the year that changed distribution planning. So I will start with the introduction. For decades, the world is changing in a way favoring the flows of information, people, and objects commonly named globalization. It's becoming possible through the development of various supports of exchange, from social media by the digitalization of our habits of communication to the expansion of all other channels aiming at transporting. It is in such context that 2020 becomes a striking year, affecting every single person all over the world. That because of the noxiousness of the COVID-19, that is, according to the New England Journal of Medicine in 2020, the third coronavirus to emerge in the human population in the past 2 decades, an emergence that has put global public health institutions on high alert. Allegedly arose in 2019, the virus spread in a couple of months all over the world, taking its toll on every continent. Therefore, it has led to coerced adaptations aiming at effective safety, as well in personal area as in professional one. That is how the transport and distribution sector has not been spared and had to adjust itself to the current pace. So we talk about procurement and retailers' stocks in 2020. At the beginning of the global pandemic, when the first wave of confinement has been implemented within almost every country throughout the world, people had to live under strict restrictions, hence the ones of doing grocery shopping. Supermarkets and grocery shops were still open to meet people's needs, but rapidly the groceries procurement became an issue as long as shelves got empty because of road rushes. Thus, this problem has been redirected into supply chains and distribution sector. People need anything to respond to their needs as quickly as possible. That is why, in spite of the context, the transport area still has to work as effectively as possible in order to face lack of procurement. Consequently, many means are used to boost distribution since the beginning of the year. Procurement solutions companies are more and more consulted, according to Chris Aydon, president of SAP Procurement Solutions, since they help finding new sources of supply, matching buyers with suppliers, aiming at pulsing the supply chain and improving the level of granularity within it. Since pandemic started, chief procurement officers were all in business continuity, finding another larger picture, adapting to helping other industries to get supplies and services where they needed to be. That is what became the new normal. Then, according to Love, Aika, Matthews, and Fang in 2020, over the last several decades, many governments throughout the world have invested significantly in the upgrade of transport infrastructure projects to improve the economic and social well-being of their economies. For example, the Australian Commonwealth government announced in its budget to invest $100 billion over 10 years from 2020 in transport infrastructure in order to address congestion, better connect regional areas, and improve the safety of roads and the quality of the freight network. And finally, Chris Aydon, SAP Procurement Solutions President, reminds that procurement has to be considered as a global issue as long as it is digitally running with 4 million suppliers and 3 trillions of spend. And this slide is an overview as a conclusion for procurement. And I let Alecia continue.
So first, it's important to note the expansion of online shopping that was unexpected, while with a peak reached in March and a second one expected shortly. Also, e-commerce revenues should generate 861 billion euros in 2020, in which the UK has the highest volume, followed by China, Norway, Finland, and South Korea. To give you an order of magnitude, Irish people expenses in food orders are expected to reach 240 million euros by the end of 2020. Online purchases is an improvement in the actual situation because it translates a recovery in activity for the sectors most affected by COVID-19. It also permits to increase the transport network and the distribution planning that is essential. The fast implementation of e-commerce that increased orders includes pros like the efficiency of companies that improve very quickly a way for customers to order and the planning distribution to follow the demand. But there are also cons for other companies that couldn't follow the rhythm and had to shut down. Pauline?
Sorry.
Thank you. Due to COVID-19 and the new restrictions, consumers' demand has changed all along 2020. Supply and demand was think again. The product importance was also think again. Food is vital and highly demanded, while clothes or other non-essential purchases are forgotten. Depending on the side on which the market distribution was, in one side, it stopped like for transport between factories and non-essential shops, but on the other side, it was highly effective, like for home deliveries, for example. And for the security, people are not allowed or don't want to go out and expect to be delivered for everything they need. And now I will let Kosi talk.
Yeah, I'll be discussing warehousing and outsourcing. COVID-19's emergence and impact in 2020 has greatly altered standard warehousing and outsourcing practices. The growing threat of coronavirus has created a serious risk to supply chains, as manufacturers and retailers face the possibility that suppliers will halt production and they won't be able to replenish rundown stockpiles. Due to these factors, some trends are emerging to mitigate these various issues caused by the pandemic. Yeah. Drop shipping has expanded due to COVID-19, greatly accelerating e-commerce sales. This allowed manufacturers to gain better control of their supply chains and increase profit margins. Initially suffering from poor stock availability due to factory shutdowns, supply for most products has now recovered. Drop shipping sales have bounced up way beyond expectation. Drop shipping is being seen as a better, more popular alternative to high street shops or department stores. The designs allow for the fast flow of small individual items, often delivered by a variety of trucks and vans to the end user. This contrasts with the more infrequent delivery of consolidated items to a single store by truck and trailer. This means warehouses are becoming big as more room is required for the physical handling of numerous smaller packages. Another advantage is retail facilities are open around the clock, picking and packing shipments for next day delivery. Yeah, next. Yeah, this graph just shows how coronavirus impact on retail commerce website traffic worldwide as of June 2020. And as you can see, retail website generated almost 22 billion visits in June 2020, up from 16 billion global visits in January 2020. Yeah. Increased automation. In the past, warehouse and supply chain management industry had been slow to adopt automation technology. New warehouse automation systems and technologies require significant investment and are often not quick or easy to install. Just 10% of warehouse reported using sophisticated warehouse automation technology in 2016, according to Winchester Consulting. COVID-19 and the resulting global economic shutdown that ensued has upped the ante significantly. Warehouses have experienced a large recruitment drive due to the lockdown, and the rise of e-commerce meant many companies needed to increase their headcount. This means managers must be able to keep their new staff safe, according to the social distancing rules. The low cost of borrowing money and government incentives for capital purchases will make the return investment case attractive. One contributor to this, within the short-term unemployment levels, and also the migration of workers from the high street sector to logistics. In the short term, unemployment levels and migration of workers from high street retail sectors to logistics make labor abundant and cheap. However, within the longer term, the sector adoption of automated material landing and handling equipment robotics is inevitable. Examples of automation that will be implemented in the warehouse include assisted guide vehicles, or AGV. They're effectively robots which can transport and move inventory around the warehouse. They're box on wheels that use sensor technology and preset tracks to move into rows of products, lift the tower, or to tug a particular product, deliver it to a worker. Yeah, the size of warehouse automation market worldwide this is a prediction of how it's going to grow from 2012 to 2026. Global warehouse automation market is estimated to surpass $30 billion by 2026 from $15 billion in 2029. I mean, in 2019. Yeah.